This film is aimed at raising the awareness
around the ability of young Australians with cerebral palsy
overcoming an everyday obstacle.
The 9 participants you are about to meet had each set themselves a goal.
I knew that if they believed
Believed in themselves,
they could achieve anything they want.
I love the snow. In fact, skiing runs in my family, but it became pretty clear that skiing was not a good match for me. So one day, I decided to do something so completely radical, insane, even crazy, a little bit risky. So I advise you not to try this at home or on the snow because it poses a great deal of risk. I got on the toboggan and people were watching, including my parents. I snowboarded down that hill on the toboggan. It was absolute bliss, completely wonderful, enjoyable, and it gave me the freedom to snowboard.
Back in 2007, I decided that I wanted to join the school open cricket team. I tried out, but unfortunately I didn't get in. So I practiced with every spare minute I had, and the next year I tried again. And unfortunately I didn't get in, and I thought maybe my cerebral palsy could have been a factor. However, in 2009 I tried again, and I managed to get in the team, and I opened the bowling and took 1 for 2 or 3 overs. We won the game, and I felt I'd achieved my goal.
My family moved when I was 16 years of age, which meant that I changed high schools. I was scared of what others would think of me. I found it really hard to fit in. I was always sitting by myself for recess and lunch. In year 10, I decided to enter a video competition. Sharing my story, I called it I Can. They had a school assembly. I was very nervous. And in front of the whole school, I was awarded first prize. I felt an amazing sense of achievement and recognition.
For 3 years I have been practicing swimming with my dad at my local pool in the hope of competing at the swimming carnival. And the teacher said that I was unable to compete because I was not a good swimmer. I was disheartened by this. When I went to high school, I was allowed to compete at the school carnival. I swam in the 50-metre freestyle race, and my peers cheered me on, and I won. And I was so proud, as my classmates had to cheer me on for ages.
I'm really passionate about disability rights. I attended a community forum where the local member was present. I was offered to speak and I stood up in front of 300 or 400 people. My hands were shaking and I was stuttering a little bit, and once I presented with the speech, people in the audience stood up and clapped with a massive round of applause. And then after that, Tony Abbott, came up to me and took my hand and said he, valued my contribution to the community. I was really proud of myself for pushing myself to do something like that.
Ever since I was a young child, I always enjoyed being in the car and I wanted to drive. Finally, at the age of 20, I got my L plates and I went home and asked Dad if he could take me for a drive. He looked at me and told me to go and find a driving instructor. I didn't tell my instructor that I had cerebral palsy, but after a few driving lessons, she asked me if I had broken my leg. I looked at her and I said I had cerebral palsy. She was shocked, but she was still willing to teach me to drive. And 7 years later, I have got my full licence and I'm able to drive confidently, and I absolutely love it.
All first-year law students were required to participate in a practice court case to develop our courtroom and argument skills. My speech limitations made my lecturer nervous. He gave me the option to skip the court case. Inside I thought, I'll show you. And said that I wanted to do the assessment like everybody else. I got around my speech issues by simply writing my arguments on a piece of paper and handing them to him so he could follow along with me. My performance surprised everyone, including me, and I got great marks.
The biggest goal I achieved was when I decided to ride a bike for the first time. I was scared. All the thoughts came into my head. Then I wondered how much fun it would be. I put one foot on the pedal and rode away. Then I fell off. So I got up and I tried again and again until I could ride the bike. I will never forget that day.
I remember the first time I ever performed in front of a large audience. I was 14 years old and I auditioned for a school talent show. Now the audition was scary enough, but on the night of the show, the performance pace was completely full. Now I was freaking out, I was so self-conscious about the way that my arm would hang or the limp in my walk. I wanted to perform more than anything, but the thought of it absolutely terrified me. The question that it all boiled down to was I willing to let my insecurities stand in the way of doing what I loved? Was I going to choose to let them define me? So when they finally announced my act, I turned and walked out onto the stage, and I've never looked back.
As I stare in the eyes of fate, she told me, son, you better be on your game, 'cause this life is worth living, the pen's to the page. This is your story, the future's today. She said, son, you better be.
If you believe.
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 Believe and you can achieve.
You can achieve.
And achieve.
And you'll achieve.
Achieve.
You can achieve.
Achieve.
You can achieve.
Then you can achieve.
I know I'm